Hi! So in this video, we're going to be solving multi-step equations, and then we're going to check our solution to make sure that we're right. So let's look at our first example. Here we have 3 times the quantity x plus 1 plus 6 equals negative 9. So there's a couple different ways to do these types of problems, but we're going to do all of these ones kind of the same way. So we're going to distribute that front term, because that's kind of what comes to our minds first. And so that's going to give us 3x plus 3 plus 6 equals negative 9. Now we see that we have two like terms, the 3 and the 6. So we're going to combine those. So now we have 3x plus 9 equals negative 9. And now we're down to a standard two-step equation. So we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. That's an inverse operation. And then we have 3x equals negative 18. And then we're going to finish it by dividing both sides by 3, because that's how we get rid of this 3. Because 3 divided by 3 is 1. We have x equals negative 6. And so now we just need to check our work. And to check our work, we're just going to take our original problem, and then in the x's spot, or the variable, whatever variable that might be, we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in our negative 6 and then see if when we work out this side that has that variable, sometimes it's one side, sometimes it's both sides, but in this case it's just the left side, we're going to work that out. We want to know, does that equal, will this answer equal negative 9? And if it does, then negative 6 is our answer. If not, then we've made a mistake somewhere. So let's plug that in. So plugging that into the calculator gives us a negative 9. And when we check, it does match, which means x equals negative 6 is our solution. So let's come over and look at problem B. We have 15 equals 5 plus 4 times 2d minus 3. So we have a number in front of our parentheses. So we want to go ahead and distribute that. So we're left with 15 equals 5 plus 8d minus 12. Now this time I kept that in orange so you can see where we got that from. So if we look at what we have, we also see that we have some like terms here with the 5 and that minus 12. So we can put those together. And so we have 15 equals 8d, and then a positive 5 and a negative 12 is going to make a negative 7. So I left that in green so we can know where that came from. And so now we have a standard two-step problem to solve. So we will add 7, because that is the inverse operation for subtraction, to make that go away. So now we have 22 equals 8d. And now we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 8. So that gets rid of our 8. And we're going to be left with d equals, and this actually comes out to a 2.75, which is not a whole number. Now, depending on your teacher, you might be able to leave it at 2.75, or you might need to keep it as a fraction. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put up here just 2.75, but what if we had to keep that as a fraction? If we had to keep that as a fraction, we would need to take our 22 over 8, and we would need to simplify that. So think of a number that goes into 22 and 8. What's the biggest number? That's right, it's 2. So here we see that 2 will go into 22 11 times, and 2 will go into 8 4 times, which gives us that d equals 11 over 4 as a reduced fraction. So again, it depends on what your teacher wants. If it was me in my class, I would want the 11 over 4. And so now we need to check our solution. So we're going to check that, and we'll do that right here. So check. All right, so we're going to be plugging in 11 over 4 into our d's spot. And remember, you can use the 2.75 also. So plug in 11 over 4. And then we're going to go ahead and work out this right-hand side, and I'm definitely going to use my calculator here. So I'm going to plug in 5 plus 4 parentheses 2 parentheses 11 divided by 4 close parentheses minus 3 close parentheses. And when I hit enter, I'm going to see that I get a 15, and that checks out. And so 11 over 4, or 2.75, is our correct answer. So I just want to show you really fast what it might look like on my calculator. So up here on the top, we see where I've done the 11 divided by 4, right there. Okay. But if you've got a fancy calculator, you can put in a fraction as well. And you'll see that either way, I got a 15. So let's go ahead and let's move on to our next one. So I'm going to encourage you to try it on your own, to push pause, try this problem on your own and see what you come up with. And then push play and see if you're right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is distribute our -2, which gives us 13 equals -2y plus 8 plus 3y. Then we see that we have like terms that we're going to go ahead and combine. And -2y plus positive 3y is a positive y. So we have 13 equals y plus 8. And then here we just have a one step. So we're just going to subtract 8 from both sides. And we see that we have 5 equals y. And then we're ready to check that out. So we're going to go ahead and check that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug a 5 in there, just like so. And then again, we're going to work out this right-hand side. We're going to plug that into our calculator. And we're going to get a 13. So we see that y equals 5 is correct. So I want you to go ahead, and this one's a little bit different for D because instead of just having number out front of our ordered pair, not ordered pair, our parentheses, we have a 2x. So I want you to think, is it best to distribute the 2x right now, or should we subtract the 5 and the 3? I agree. We should subtract the 5 and the 3. So we're going to have 2x times 2 minus 3x equals 5. And here we see that we're not really having to do a lot of distributing. We're able to just multiply the 2x times the 2 and get a 4x. So 4x minus 3x equals 5. We have our like terms of 4x and 3x. So 4 minus 3 is just 1x. So we got our answer pretty simply. X equals 5. And so now we just need to check that and see what we get. All right, so here we see that we have our 5 plugged in for both of our x values. And when we plug that into the calculator, we get a 5, and we check, and it works out. So x equals 5. And we're finished.